Brilliance Audio.
Haunted House, a Krewe of Hunters novella, by Heather Graham, performed by Paul Bamer. The thing seemed to stare at her. Of course, it couldn't stare. There was nothing but Stygian emptiness where the eyes should have been. The soft tissue had long ago decomposed. And still, she knew she was in Salem, Massachusetts, renowned for tragic history and ghost stories. And it was almost Halloween, October. Haunted Happenings was coming into full swing, filled with scary fun and delight and this. Dear Lord, it was something straight out of a horror movie, except that it was real. She was dreaming. Somehow, Kylie Connelly Dickson knew she was dreaming. She also knew that, somehow, the dream was real. And she knew where she was and what was going on, as if she had entered the very soul of another human being. She was in an old house, one known for its tragic history, curses, hauntings, and all that came with such a place. Once, Kylie hadn't understood. Now, since she'd met Jon, she knew something about her unique talent, enough to know that she was seeing, feeling, and knowing things as another person. And she knew the circumstances because she had the memories and information of the soul she had entered. She was another person at the moment. She even knew who she was this time. Her friend, Brenda Riley. And she knew that she had just purchased the home. She knew what Brenda did because, in a very strange way, she was Brenda. She saw with her eyes, felt her emotions, knew her thoughts, which told her that the electricity wouldn't be on until later. Unfortunately, the realtor handling the sale hadn't thought she'd be able to get into the home until tomorrow, but as it turned out, she had signed the last papers today. It had been a lifelong dream to buy the amazingly historic home in the city she loved so very much. Mandy Nichols, the realtor for the absentee seller, had been wonderful, hurrying things along as best she could, knowing how much Brenda loved the house. But this... She was amazed that she hadn't screamed. Maybe because, in the Halloween season, all kinds of pranks and shenanigans went on. Or perhaps more likely it was because all her breath was gone and she had nearly passed out. And though her flashlight reflected off the white gleam of the skull and other skeletal remains stuffed behind the deteriorating false wall, she still hadn't moved. Because she was frozen stiff with shock and fear. The house that had stood before had belonged to a woman accused of witchcraft. Not one who had been executed, but one who had died nonetheless. Her family had left Salem, cursing the very ground. Sometime after their marriage, it was said that Ezekiel Johnson murdered his wife, and in the 1800s Priscilla Alcott had in turn murdered her husband, and then, in the 1900s, Fisher Smith had been accused by the locals of being a serial killer after citizens of Salem, Peabody, and other nearby towns disappeared. Even in 2001, a ghost tour guide had vanished after pointing out the house, the ghosts of the dead who haunted it, and stating how the land itself had been cursed.